Two Dudes Wolfpack, what's going on? It is AEW Friday, and Two Dudes with Attitudes is back for your weekend, right? We're getting this weekend started again after taking a week off. We are back, baby. You're not flying. That was a week ago. Can you believe that? That was a week ago.
It feels just like yesterday. Yeah,
it does. A week ago.
I know. And I still haven't recovered. I'm still on like the West Coast time. I was texting you. I was like, you ready to start at 10 a.m. today? And it was like, it's really 1 p.m. where I am. And I'm like eating breakfast at 1:30 in the afternoon because it's 10:30 where my body was. Yeah. So I still have not recovered and haven't really slept very well since I've been home either. So I'm ready for a nice, good weekend to just close my eyes and go to sleep and not have a bunch of wrestling to watch, which again, wrestling's fun. I love it. But Mania week, there can be a lot of stuff going on. There was you had Raw, NXT, Dynamite, Impact, SmackDown, Hall of Fame, WrestleMania, NXT Stand and Deliver, WrestleMania, Monday Night Raw, NXT, Dynamite. So it's a lot in a 2-week span.
I agree. And I think you just can't sleep because you miss me so much in California.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
You found out this was your real home. You want to come back to Cali, pack up the family and come to a real state, buddy.
That's what I told him. That's what I told my wife. My wife was like, yeah, we're not moving there. I was like, okay. She's like, it's expensive out there. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's true.
You know, but out here we drive Teslas and have, cool things like that. So, I mean, have you told the world yet you're going to get a Tesla? Because I have one. I mean,
I'm in the market. I have a 2015 Honda Accord that I'm thinking about trading in. And I told my wife it was either a Tesla or a pickup truck. And after spending the weekend with you, I was like, okay, I think I'm getting a Tesla. And she was like, well, it's going to be after the oldest kid is out of daycare because then we'll get that pay increase. So I was like, okay. And she'll be out in June. So come June, I may be rocking in a new Tesla.
She'll be out in June. Your youngest daughter's like prison dom.
I know.
She'll be out in June.
She'll be out. Yeah, she's out today too. She's out for the holiday. But yeah, they released her. And now she's, she'll be out in June.
Nice. No, I'm still thinking about that Dominic entrance, man. That was so dope. Still thinking about that prison Dom entrance.
Apparently WWE got in some PR trouble because one of the images in that video was Auschwitz. And they had to like release a statement apologizing for using Auschwitz in that video, which is like the Jewish concentration camp. And apparently a lot of people were offended at that.
Why did they do I thought they were just going to throw a show like Alcatraz or something. That's what I thought
it had the exterior of a prison. And I guess that was what they were going for. I don't think they meant anything malicious
from it. Yeah. No.
But yeah, it was
what would Dominic have to do with the Holocaust?
It was just the principle of the matter, I guess. And that's something that you shouldn't mess around with. But they released a statement apologizing for it. Just said it was an error on their part.
Oh, that poor editor. WWE has some good editors too. That guy just lost his job, didn't
he? Yeah, he messed up. Yeah.
That sucks.
Vince, he's gonna be one of the cuts under the Endeavor.
I don't think Vince cares.
No.
Vince is like, people need to get over it.
Let's make it an angle.
Let's make it an angle where I make out with Trish Stratus again. Have you seen her? Wow. Speaking of Trish Stratus, I know we're on AEW Friday, but have you seen that stupid photo that's circulating where she's walking the stage Triple H is like 100% zoomed in on anything else, and then there's like Dom and I think Booker T are like straight like.
And you can see Kurt Angle like all the way in the background.
Oh, everybody, because she has like it's like a shirt on one side and just her bra boob on the other side, and her bra boob is like on the side that everybody's on, and they're just like. I know it just happened to be the picture. I mean, there could have been anything else. Once again, pictures don't mean nothing, right? You could have but it's just it's pretty fun. At least Triple H knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like Booker T's married. Kurt Angle's married, right? Aren't these guys married? Like, come on,
Triple H is married. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but Triple H was the only one not looking. That dude was like,
that's true.
Nope.
He was like, I'm not looking.
Not looking. Plus, he's like her boss, so it also makes sense. But I wonder where Vince was. Vince was like,
I know. He's probably backstage with recreating that little famous GIF that's out on the internet everywhere. GIF, whatever it's called. But
yeah, whatever. But we get it. Yeah.
Yeah, the one where he like knocks I think it's the Stacy Keebler one where he like flips the desk over and he's like,
oh, yeah, it's like the Lonely Island Jizz in My Pants video. Yeah, he's like straight, 100%. But anyway, let's get into some AEW because AEW had a rocking week, man. I like it. I thought they had a good week. I thought this was one of the best Dynamites I've seen in a while, and Rampage tried its best too. So let's talk about Rampage. One of the things about Rampage is that we've said is that sometimes it's like pushing angles, or sometimes it's having pointless matches, or I think this week it was like a mix of both, where Rampage is, I think, starting to become the victim of its own time frame, where an hour just isn't enough time to kind of do what they have to do. And maybe 2 hours is too much, right? I don't think Rampage could be 2 hours because I don't think they're there yet they have the talent. They could do 2 hour shows, but I just don't think they're there yet. But I mean, they had they had Sammy Guevara come in. He needed a win for the Four Pillars thing, and he had a good match. And, they had brought up QT Marshall, and they had the Matt Hardy and Ethan Page thing, and the Best Friends against House of Black to lead to their trios match. And, they had Jade Cargill, and they had Juice Robinson. So they did what they needed to do. It still just felt flat to me, though. It just I felt like all the matches were like C-rated matches where they happened. Once again, I just don't think they have enough time, right? The one thing that AEW shines in is not telling stories, it's their matches, right? So I think if they don't have enough time for their matches, they could tend to struggle. I like the effort. I enjoyed Rampage. It wasn't bad. I didn't get bored of it. I had fun. I feel bad for Action Andrade. I mean, that guy went from like beating Chris Jericho and whoever else to now he's just like the jobber of the Rampage main event. Like he's on main event every week and jobbing now. It went from like Orange Cassidy every week to now on Action Andrade loses every week on Rampage, right? Didn't he hasn't he lost every I don't.
Yeah, he lost to Juice.
Well, he lost to Juice Robinson, but he's losing every week now, isn't he? Always there, and he has good matches. He's he's kind of like what Sammy Guevara was doing for a little bit, where he's like that guy who's going to give you a good match, but he's probably going to lose. I trust me, I don't think he's any. He's not Sammy Guevara yet, but I liked it, and I liked seeing a couple people. We had Anna Jay back. And we had Tay Mello back. So overall, it was, I know that's like a confusing statement that I did, but it was good, but it was also just not there. Right. But it did its job, right? It pushed some stories. We got Keith, they talked about Keith Lee and Swerve again, that they've never had their match and so on. So, did what they needed to do.
Yeah. I thought Rampage was what it was. And I think it kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit with the Hall of Fame and the WrestleMania weekend that was coming on, because this was last Friday the 31st, and you had SmackDown that night, the go-home show of WrestleMania. Then you had the WWE Hall of Fame. And I know this Rampage wasn't live. I know it was recorded last Wednesday, but it aired while the Hall of Fame was going on. So I think kind of just maybe they phoned it in. I don't know. It was just it wasn't a bad show, but it wasn't necessarily a great show, and it just was what it was. I mean, it pushed some stories, but like you said, everything. I like that the Best Friends in House of Black set up for the trios match, and I like that we got a boost to the women's division back with Anna Jay and Ty Mello coming back, and Juice Robinson continuing his feud with Ricky Starks, but it just still. Everything just felt flat. All of it felt flat, and it felt you could even tell the wrestlers weren't really feeling it. That it just, I think this is one of those cases where Rampage is really, it was good, wasn't great. There were some high moments, there were some low moments, but it was better than what they were giving us a few months ago before with Rampage, where it was just a pure throwaway show. You didn't even have to watch it to know. Now you kind of have to watch it in order to know what's going on Dynamite. And we were in California together, and that was the first thing I said when I watched Dynamite this week was, why is Orange Cassidy wrestling against the House of Black like this? And then I went back and watched Rampage, and I was like, okay, that makes sense, because you had to watch Rampage in order to figure out what happened. So I do like that. I do like what they're doing. I do like when they push the angles and they push stories, but yeah, something just felt off in this episode altogether.
This week, they've been doing that well. Is that usually the main event is leading to one of the matches, right? So Juice Robinson was in the main event. He's going to be feuding with Ricky Starks, and he opened up that match. And then, so I like that they've been doing that. the House of Black versus, the Best Friends and leading to that. The only thing, the difference with this week was that there's no match that stood out. And I think that's what hurt them this week, is that every week they always have that one match. They'll have 4 or 5 matches. Two of them will be quick squash matches, and there'll be 2 of them that are like 15 minutes long. And so you'll have that, be a star match, you know what I mean? Graded match. And this week they just didn't have it. So I think that's what was missing for me, was just that one. Like, I like watching Sammy Guevara. He went, and him and that guy had but they, once again, it was just like a decent match. Juice Robinson, it was a decent match. They just had decent matches, but I like seeing Jade Cargill, so I'm glad she was on my screen. I miss
that's
Jade Cargill.
It's always a good thing, because you never know when you're going to see her again. But also, the thing about Rampage too, I want them to go back to doing the pre-main event interviews with Mark Henry. Lately, the last couple of weeks, it feels like they've been doing these video packages, which great. They're cool video packages and everything. I think those are well done, but I think you get a little bit more of the wrestler's personality. You get a little bit more. I think it gives you a little bit more involvement in that match as to, okay, like this guy took a personal shot at me in the pre-match interview, and now I'm fired up. Now, if I wasn't fired up before, now I am. Now they've just kind of done away with it, and then they do a video package, and then it leads to Mark Henry saying it's time for the main event. But I want them to go back to doing the pre-main event interviews with their competitors and everything.
I think they got rid of that when they switched production.
I think they did.
That was the new production. They got rid of it, because now like Mark Henry's just like in front of a blue screen, and I feel like, does he even work for the company anymore? Because it's the same. I think that's the same shot every single week. I don't think they change it. I think they just did like one recording, and he just
plays it. And I feel like that takes some. I feel like doing it the old way gives you something to get invested in. It's like a pre-match interview or pre-match promo. You can kind of get you. I'd love to see Action Andretti on the mic to see why he is excited about wrestling Juice Robinson, and getting back at Juice Robinson for everything he's done to Ricky Starks, or vice versa. Why is Juice Robinson attacking Ricky Starks, and why are we feuding? What's he going to do to Action Andretti? I'd love seeing that. And I want them. I wish they would bring it back, because this feels like the new normal, and I don't know how I feel about it.
I agree. I enjoyed it too, and the crowd liked it. Everybody liked saying, it's time. Like, that was Mark Henry's thing. Poor Mark Henry. I haven't been listening to his podcast lately either, Busted Open. So I wonder if he said anything. But poor guy, because they don't just show him at all anymore, other than that pre-recorded thing. So
I know. I hate it.
So. Too bad. But let's move on to Dynamite. So AEW Dynamite was popping, man. I thought this was, like I said, I thought this was like their best one. I mean, it had some good, it had some bad, but that's everything. I'll give you 2 things that we can just say right now, that it was 1,000 times better than Raw. 1,000 times better than Raw. Excuse me. And I think AEW did what they had to do. I think they needed to have a really, really good show to balance this whole Vince McMahon, is he or is he back thing. Especially with SmackDown today now, have you heard about it? People, I don't know if it's just a TikTok thing. People are trying to hijack the show and like not be into it and just chant fire Vince or whatever throughout the whole entire thing. And I don't, fans are so funny, because you think like hijacking a show is going to do anything other than hurt the entertainers who are there trying to promote the show, and hurt the people watching. Because what if Vince isn't doing it this week and Triple H is, and it's going to be a phenomenal show? You're going to hijack it for no reason. Secondly, you think chanting fire Vince is going to, I think people forget that all publicity is good publicity. Vince McMahon can give 2 rats. He's going to love it. Vince would feed all into that. He would probably come out and appear and be like, fire me. You know what I mean? So
and you paid money to buy those tickets. So if you really want to make an impact, don't pay money and buy those tickets. Don't go to the arenas. That's it's like when, not to get political, but Bud Light is now sponsoring somebody that's transgender, and a bunch of, homophobic people and transphobic people. Or like Kid Rock, for example, he went to a store. There's a video of him on social media. He went to a store and bought a 6-pack of Bud Light. So gave Anheuser-Busch their money.
That's what that was about.
Yeah. And then he took a machine gun and shot the cans. And it's like, Okay, but you paid them your money to, you're making this impact and you're making this statement, but
Uh-huh.
you're giving them money by
And you
purchasing.
advertising them by
Yeah,
posting you shooting it because people who don't like you are going to go buy it now. So you're giving them more money.
exactly. Yeah. So that's what I think of with these. I think it's a cool. It's a good way to get your voice out there, but
Hmm.
you're if you want to make an impact, you have to hit them where it hurts in the pocketbook. And you buying tickets and buying merch and buying stuff and then going to an event and chanting something, that's not going to do anything.
No, I agree with you. And that's the thing, right? It's like I saw somebody say, if you really want to get to them, don't watch SmackDown, don't go to the event, make it an empty arena. That's how you get them. That's the
Yeah.
only way to do it. But anyway, either way, TK did what he needed to do. One, he
Yeah.
didn't bring up WWE and wrestling, Vince, and so on. So that was good. The acclaimed just rap didn't even do that. So thankfully, they were like keeping them out of it. That's how you do it. How do you beat a company? By showing them you're better than them, not by telling them you're better than them, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like when you write a script. If you were a screenwriter, you don't have the actor talk about their feelings and say it out loud. They show them, they convey them. You have to feel the feelings. You don't say, I'm happy. Did you know I'm happy? No, you show that you're happy. That's how you act. You don't have to say it. So it's the same difference. But I want to talk about something that I think has hurt AEW, which I think brought it, and that's the women's division. I think the women's division has always kind of hurt in AEW. They've struggled.
Mm-hmm.
Britt Baker has kind of been the only thing that was ever really mattered, women's champions. And I have to say, the AEW women's division right now is doing a lot better, minus Rhea Ripley, than the WWE women's division, because Rhea Ripley right now is the hottest female act, period. I mean, there's no,
Yes,
that's a
true.
no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. She's carrying the women's division in all of wrestling. But overall, I think AEW is just doing it. I think Jamie Hayter, when she became the champion, was kind of like probably a risky chance with her being under Britt and not being that main person. And I think she has shined. I think she's been the best champion since Britt Baker, to be honest with you. I don't think there's been a good champion since Britt, and I think Jamie Hayter has been. I like that they're not broken up. I like that they're still friends. I like that they're baby faces. I dig it. Like last Dynamite with Britt coming out and making out with Adam Cole. And
yeah.
I mean, I like it. I like that. I like what they were doing with it. And Jamie Hayter can go, man. Not only she got a booty to die for, but she can go in the ring. The girl can go, man. I mean, she's clean. She's smooth. I'm not the biggest Riho fan. I'm not the biggest one, but I like the match. I thought Riho and Jamie Hayter brought a good A plus match. I thought it was fun. It was exciting. They were hitting each other hard. They were doing good moves. The pins. I like all the near falls. It was good stuff. Good near falls. Just everything about it was good. The right woman won. I like how it didn't really I don't make Riho look any worse. And then I like the segment afterwards. I like the Outcast. For one, they got a shirt. I kind of like it. It's simple. It just says Outcast in the green and has their names under it. But I like the Outcast. I like that they challenge them afterwards. They all look good. They said it doesn't matter who wins the belt. And it didn't seem like they're gonna break up. That seemed like we'll figure this out. But one of us are gonna take out Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker and win that title. We don't care who the champion is, as long as it's not Jamie Hayter. That's starting stories, which they have been building. I like it all. I thought it was fantastic stuff from AEW. So good booking in the women's division.
Yeah, and the crowd loved it too. That was the big thing. They were doing dueling chants between Ruby, Siho, and what's the girl's name?
Riho.
Yeah, Riho. I was Ruby Siho.
Yeah, you were mixing them both up. Yeah,
but Riho and Jamie Hayter, and I like that they gave them some time to wrestle. They gave them some time to show what they could do, showcase their talents. I like that it took 3 Haterades to put Riho down.
Yep.
So it wasn't just a quick squash match. And yeah, I'm starting to dig this Outcast thing. I'm starting to. I wasn't feeling it at first. I didn't like the spray paint. I didn't like any of a lot of the stuff. But I think Ruby Soho has found a new groove with being a heel, and now that she's part of this Outcast group, she actually has a purpose. She has something that she's fighting for. She has something that she wants to do, and she's great at it. And then Saraya, I think, is getting more and more comfortable every week on the mic, and I think she's getting better and better in the ring too. The more that she's getting readjusted and reacclimated to it, and yeah, I loved all of it. I thought all of it has been great. The women's division has needed a big boost, and I think these girls are doing it for them. And also, we talked about it with Rampage. I think Anna Jay, AS, and Ty Mello being back, I think that's going to add some boost to the women's division as well. Will they get involved in this feud? Will it be, are the Outcasts coming after everybody that was an AEW original? Once this feud's done. So I think there's a lot of different directions that this story can go, and yeah, I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah, and we can't forget about Jade Cargill, and she's going to be wrestling this Friday because they're doing the Battle of the Belts this Friday after Rampage, and with that girl who came in, Taya or whatever, who's feuding with her now, and she looks good. I mean, they're doing good things. Don't forget Toni Storm. Toni Storm looks super cute too. She had her hair up like in a certain thing. I was digging it. I was like, all right, girl, you do your hair up like that. But Toni Storm's been looking. I mean, they've all just. I mean, I dig what they've been doing with this women's division. So yeah. And I like the Outcasts. And I think, are they done with the spray paint? Was it last Dynamite? I watched them all like in a row because we were at WWE for so long, so I had to catch up. And like Saraya handed her the spray paint, and she like threw it on the ground and then went and got a chair. And then they beat Riho with the chair or whatever like that, and they didn't use the spray paint. So I don't know if they got rid of it or I have no idea.
Yeah,
but I do like the green. I like their green theme though. I like that they all match. They just look fitting. They all look good right now. So. Yeah,
and I hope they keep it going because it's good stuff. It really is good stuff. I want to talk about the opening match of Dynamite that really never got started. The air quotes around match, the Juice Robinson versus Ricky Starks match that they've been feuding for the last couple of weeks, and then we saw the Action Andretti against Juice Robinson on Rampage, and it was the match never really got started because the one of the guys that was rumored to be signing with the WWE post WrestleMania, he is now all elite, and that is Switchblade Jay White. He is in the AEW. I had a feeling he was going to be going there the whole time. I didn't really think he fit the WWE, but apparently he was rumored to be going to them or back to re-debuting in AEW. And he came out and attacked Ricky Starks as he was making his entrance. Got a huge pop from the crowd. I think the crowd, I don't think they saw it coming. I think they maybe had an inkling that he was going to be in AEW, but I don't think they expected him to show up on Dynamite. And I think they were legitimately shocked. So kudos to AEW. They gave us the post WrestleMania edition of Dynamite gave us more surprises than the post WrestleMania edition of Monday Night Raw, and it's not even a WWE production. But they got me. I didn't see that coming either. And now, again, more intrigue. What are Juice Robinson and Jay White a team now? Are they a duo? Are they? Is it going to be Ricky Starks versus Jay White at Double or Nothing, and it's going to be Action Andretti against Juice Robinson at Double or Nothing, or is it going to be a tag team match? I mean, there's all kinds of ways that this story can go, and I'm curious to see what happens. Is he a babyface? Is he a heel? He got a big pop, but was that the "we're happy to see you" pop, glad you're here type pop, and next week we'll be back to booing you? I don't know, but I was here for it. I thought that was a really solid way to open Dynamite, and I think the thing I liked about it too was that it was different, because normally Dynamite, you start off with a great match and then you end with a great match. And this one, the match never really started. As he was making his entrance, he then gets beat up and by Jay White, and Juice Robinson and him, and Jay White double team him. And so the match never got started. And I thought that was just a way to be different with AEW. And I thought it was pretty well done. I thought it was a cool thing, a cool surprise. And I'm happy to see him in AEW, and I'm curious to see what they do with him.
Yeah. So like I said, how do you stick it to WWE after have an awful Monday Night Raw? Do you talk about them, or do you do better than them? And that was the best way to open up AEW Dynamite, was by having the person that everyone thought was going to appear at Monday Night Raw appear on your show to open it up. It was like right away, like Ricky Starks' entrance, and then boom. Thing with Jay White, he looked good. He was thin. He was ripped. He looked good in the ring. I like that I'm assuming they can talk about the Bullet Club. They did their logo and their thing and all that. I think they can talk about it. I think it's interchangeable within AEW, right? I don't know. But either way, he got the pop because of the return. He's not going to continue to get a babyface pop. But It was nice. It looked good. It helps Juice Robinson. It helps Ricky Starks. I mean, that's a bigger person. The thing is with WWE is that, like, would have Jay White worked in WWE? Yes, eventually, right? Of course. Talent outweighs all. That's like saying, would AJ Styles work in WWE? Like, there's no difference really between him and Jay White. AJ Styles eventually worked. So if done properly, he would have worked. Would he have got the pop on Monday Night Raw that he did on AEW? Absolutely not. Fans of WWE don't know Jay White as well as fans of AEW unless it's hardcores, right? So it worked better for Jay White to come to AEW. I mean, everybody wants to go to WWE. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody wants to go to WWE because WWE is the A show. It's the bigger promotion, and it has WrestleMania. Everybody wants a WrestleMania moment. Everybody wants to be a part of WrestleMania. I mean, I think there's a video of Raquel Rodriguez, who had a match at WrestleMania that really meant nothing. And they had like a backstage promo with her, and she's like bawling and crying just because she was just so happy that she was able to wrestle. I mean, imagine going from like, I know we have an announcement coming up, but wrestling at like an AEW Dynamite in front of 12,000 fans, and then wrestling in SoFi Stadium in front of 87,000 fans outside in that the atmosphere. I mean, it's just a different experience. But with that said, Jay White needed to go to AEW. He's going to hopefully not get buried there like everybody else because they have so many people. I mean, I still think AEW needs to stop bringing people back. But he worked. I like the opening. And I thought that was the best way to stick it to WWE with their no surprises other than Matt Riddle. So I thought with kudos to Tony Khan. Like I said, he brought it this week. So
he really did. He really did. And I hope that he keeps that momentum going too, because I don't think this WWE stuff, it's not going away anytime soon. I think there's going to be way more questions and, probably a dip in their quality of product. And so I think he needs to build off of this momentum and keep it going, and don't mention them. Don't talk about them. Just stay in your lane, do your thing. And people will start taking notice. And the thing about Jay White in WWE too, is I could see maybe we don't know what the contract negotiations look like. We don't know what was going on, but there's already a Jay in the main event scene of WWE, Jay Uso. So would they change his name to something else? And then, then that he has to get a new character. He has to get a new gimmick. He has to, I don't know. Cause that was the whole rumor that Adam Cole left NXT. He left the WWE to come to AEW is because they were going to cut his hair, make him a manager to Keith Lee, and change his name because there was already a Cole on the main roster, and it was Michael. So I could see WWE pulling some shenanigans like that with Jay White, and that's when he was like, "Nope, I'm going to go to AEW." And maybe the Endeavor stuff had something to do with it too. I don't know. It was just something that just crossed my mind. I was thinking about like, the fans chanting Jay, but they could be chanting Jay Uso or Jay White, or Jay Lethal, or Jay. And Tony Khan doesn't care how many people have the same name in AEW, because there's Christian Cage and Brian Cage, and then there's Ethan Page and Isaiah Cassidy and Orange Cassidy, and so they don't care.
Agreed. I want to talk about what I think is the best thing going on in AEW right now, and that is my boys, the BCC. Blackpool Combat Club, man. I mean, it's funny because last time we were on, which was 2 weeks ago, so he had appeared already last week, but we were talking about Bryan Danielson. What's going on with the BCC? Bryan Danielson lost MJF, disappeared. He was like a good guy against MJF, a baby face. So how is he going to fit in? Because now the BCC were like these people who are just beating people up and taking names and taking blood. And then out comes Bryan Danielson. They have a match, the BCC at trios, and they basically just mop the floor with these dudes. And I love it. I'm not the biggest fan of squash matches unless it's necessary. And that's what the BCC is doing right now. They're here to just beat people up. That's how they should have been when they had Regal, beat people up. And now it feels like, and I could be wrong, maybe Bryan Danielson's going to wrestle and stuff, but it looks like now he's kind of taking that Regal role for a second. He's being that mouthpiece. And I love villain Bryan Danielson. I always thought he was better as a heel. I like his promos better, even though he's just like small little vegan guy with a goatee face. He just delivers it so well, so viciously. He just like, that was like when he was doing the Fickle, and he did the Fickle. He changed it. To amateur. It was flipping awesome. Like
Yeah.
I loved everything about it. I don't really like the whole stupid like let's stab people like a murder movie, but still, it was vicious. I like that he like talked about why he loved everybody while they were beating people up, and how he said Wheeler Yuta is it drives him. He's a little shit, but he's still amazing. And I think he said that, and he like
shithead.
A shithead. Yeah, I just loved everything about it. The BCC, their matching suits, they're just, man, like I said, I've been down with the BCC since day one-ish. I got their old school shirt. I've been loving them since day one, and I'm so glad now. Now, you asked me a while ago how I rated them, and I think I did like a C or a B minus or something. Now I'm starting to get to that. Now they're clicking. This is like A+ material with this faction. I honestly think right now they're the hottest thing going in AEW. I'm just digging what they're doing. I mean, should they move on from Hangman eventually? Because it's not. He doesn't even have backup now, I guess. The Dark Order's over it. I don't know. Or who else?
And the Elite didn't come out and help.
The Elite didn't. Are they going to come? But they did bring up, because Bryan Danielson said, who brought these people out? The EV or the VPs or the EPs or whatever. He like clowned them. So I mean, obviously they're going to talk about them again or bring them out. But it was just, I mean, I'm all here I'll watch the BCC. But this is when I like Moxley. This is like the Moxley I like. This is like him in the Shield when I liked him. This is like, I haven't been the biggest promoter and supporter of Moxley, but this is where I'm at with it. This is what I dig. So
no, this was great. And Moxley didn't bleed this week either. That was, there's a high for you. He didn't bleed. So the count, he's back to 0 weeks since he's bled. But yeah, I think this is how they should have been using the BCC from the very beginning. And then they got lost in the fold there with the whole Elite stuff. And then Bryan Danielson's feud with MJF was all about William Regal. And you put William Regal in the hospital instead of being like, you put him in the hospital. And now we're going to do what we should have been doing with the BCC. And that's beating you up. Kudos to MJF, because he told us that Bryan Danielson was not a good person, and he said it since their feud started, and we all kind of laughed at him and said, "Oh, he's a great person. He's the babyface." And now turns out he was right this whole time. So he's proving that MJF was right. But yeah, I thought it was great. I liked the BCC as heels. I liked the squash match. I did notice too during Dynamite. Yeah, I don't know if you heard it, but while Hangman Page was getting beaten up, the fans were chanting. They started a CM Punk chant, and I was thinking,
like for him to come out,
I was like, he's the last person that's going to help Hangman Adam Page. Did you guys not hear the All Out press conference? He does not like he's probably sitting back like he may help the BCC. Him and Moxley may put their issues to the side, and he may stab Adam Page with the screwdriver himself. Like he does not like. So yeah, I thought that. I mean, I didn't mind the CM Punk chance, because I did think he's coming back relatively soon. But yeah, I didn't think he wasn't coming out to save Hangman. It was right when Danielson said, "Is there anybody in the back that's there to save you?" And no Dark Order came out. Kenny Omega didn't come out. The Young Bucks didn't come out. And that's when they started chanting CM Punk, and I was like, he's not coming out either. But it was a good segment. I like the BCC as heels. I think they're a good group. I think they all have their moments, and I like that. I'm not a fan of the whole bringing the Ring of Honor guys to AEW, but I kind of like Claudio and Wheeler too, because they're taking this BCC attitude over to Ring of Honor as well. So it's not two separate.
They are. I haven't been watching I haven't been watching it. So okay.
And Claudio is beating up. He just had a match with Eddie Kingston. He's beating him up, and
good.
They're kind of having that same. It's not like NXT Johnny Gargano and WWE Johnny Gargano, where it's two separate universes. And so we're going to have Johnny Gargano on this week, and we're not going to talk about his feud with Grayson Waller. They're still carrying this same attitude over to Ring of Honor, which I think is what they should be doing, and I'm digging it. And Claudio's the Ring of Honor champion too, so he's the top dog over there, and he's getting his opportunity to shine. So I like what they're doing. And again, it goes back to what we talked about with Rampage, carrying stories from one show into the other. They're doing that with Dynamite and Ring of Honor, and it's fun stuff. I like it.
That was a great comparison. I like you're comparing the NXT and the WWE thing because we talk about how stupid that is, how it's the same company, it's the same everything, but Gargano is literally two different people. He's vicious on one and then a punk on the other one, and they don't bring up anything. I like that they do that. That's how it should be, that you are going to, it's the same thing. If you're going to bring him on one show, then make it relate. He doesn't show up in non-BCC gear for ROH. So that's
right. Yeah.
That's good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he still does his thing, and I like that. I think it's good stuff, and he's clearly a heel in both groups, and yeah, I'm digging it. I like the BCC.
I do have to say I forgot that he was even the champion, because anytime I see promos and ads for ROH, all they talk about is Samoa Joe. I would have thought he was the Ring of Honor champion. I forgot Claudio was even the Ring of Honor champion.
Yeah,
they don't even talk about him. I don't.
I don't know. I know that Samoa Joe is the TV champion, but he's the king of television. But Ring of Honor is not on TV. It's the king. He should be the king of streaming. But I digress. Yeah. So I talked about the opening. Let's talk about the closing.
All right.
FTR against the Guns. So the entrance of the Guns, they came out to 2004 50 Cent hit Many Men. One of my favorite songs. I love that song. I used to jam out to that all the time.
That whole album is fire, just so you know.
Oh yeah, the Get Rich or Die Trying. Yeah, all of it. Yeah, it's straight fire. And I used to jam out to that driving my 1997 Dodge Stratus around in high school. And I love Many Men. And it's I like the song Many Men. I shouldn't say I love can't play the clip. I love Many Men. The song Many Men.
You come to California for 5 days. You've already turned it here.
I come back loving Many Men. But no, it did feel random. The new entrance, it felt random for them. I think it fits them perfectly because the song is about somebody wishing, like, nobody liked 50 Cent when he was younger. That's what the whole song's about. And a lot of people wish death upon him. They tried to kill him. They tried to take him out. And yet here he is still standing. And nobody likes the Guns. The Guns get heel heat everywhere they go. They should have never won the tag team titles from the very beginning and all this jazz. And so I think the song fits them perfectly. It just felt random. It just felt like a random entrance. I was like, oh, they have a new song? And I thought, I was like, wait, I've heard that song before. And then it was all bleeped out. And but the match itself against Guns and FTR, I thought it was okay. I thought it was a solid match. I didn't hate it. I wasn't like on the edge of my seat the whole time like I was KO and Sammy against the Usos or anything. But I didn't know which way. I really had no idea which way this was going to go, because we've been hearing rumors that FTR was going to go back to WWE. We've been hearing rumors that they were going to leave AEW and just write out the end of their contracts, but they ended up winning. And I don't know if that was a new development as of Monday morning with the Endeavor stuff with WWE and after that Vince McMahon led Raw, if they decided, okay, hey Tony, we want to sign, we're staying, or if this was planned a long time ago. I have no idea, but I'm actually glad FTR is sticking around. I think it's better for the tag division in AEW. I think it's good to see them there. They're a legit tag team. So yeah, I'm happy that they won. I'm happy that the belts are off the Guns. They never should have put the belts on the Guns in the first place, but I'm happy that the belts are off the Guns. And I guess, again, more intrigue and questions as to what's next. Do the Guns get a rematch? Where does the Acclaimed fall in all this? Who does FTR fight first for the tag titles? Is there going to be a tournament to determine the contenders? So many different ways that this can go. And I'm happy. Again, the match wasn't the best FTR match I've ever seen, but I thought it was solid. I thought it was a good way to end Dynamite. You started off with the fans getting a huge pop with Jay White returning, and then you end Dynamite with the fans having a huge pop and the streamers falling and confetti falling from the sky because FTR is sticking around and they're the new tag team champions, and those belts are off the Guns.
I agree. Yeah, it was like, FTR came out first and it was nice. And I agree with you. I wasn't sure where they were going with it either. I was leaning more like there's no chance FTR is going to lose, but I did have the doubt. So it wasn't like it was like a predictable outcome. But yeah, that Many Men, like I said, I like the shots. they were like spinning or whatever and doing the thing. And I like,
Mm.
I got a little worried, when they had a brand new intro, because why didn't they do that before? Like when they first won the title. So I was like, oh shoot, okay, maybe they are going to win. They're giving them a new intro. They're giving them a 50 Cent song, which I did think it was funny watching them like rap to it. Nothing against, goofy white dudes rapping to 50 Cent. But I mean, it was just, I don't know. It just looked funny to me. But anyway, it was a good song. I mean, Many Men is a banger. I was a huge 50 Cent fan. I was such a big 50 Cent fan, just so you know. I wore G-Unit clothing. Like I had G-Unit Reeboks, G-Unit shirts, G-Unit. Like I was like the biggest 50 Cent. I'm still a big 50 Cent fan. I still bump him all the time and support him, all his albums. Like I'm a big 50 Cent fan. But Many Men's is banger. The only thing we were talking about before we got on here was that I didn't like that they picked a song that they didn't edit. It was a lot of bleeping. Like if you're gonna pick that song, then maybe just do the chorus over and over again. Just do the Many Men, and just keep like looping that the whole time. Or it was just like all the other people, like I don't know, the Elite and everybody else who has taken songs, Jungle Boy and so on, whatever that Tony Khan has paid out money for, because I'm sure he paid 50 Cent a pretty penny for it, is that they're not like that. They're not probably 50 pennies. They're not that's 50 cents, kids. They're not bleeped out. They're not curse word songs. So it was weird to have like a rap song, because like Fiddy dropped the N word and the F word and the B word, and he was saying the S word, and it was just like it just threw me off, because it felt like my TV was like glitching, but it was just them stopping to rap, and then he would like rap again and then start. So I don't know. I don't know if it was the best song. I think they just need to edit it a little bit better. But that was 2000 and whatever. Back then they used to make clean versions, like so you can play on the radio. They don't do that anymore.
Walmart version,
yeah. So they have clean versions. So why didn't you just play the clean? I don't know. If you're gonna bleep it, then don't play the real version. But anyway, those are minor details. I did like it. I thought it gave them a more hardcore vibe, a more gangsta feel, that they're like tough guys or whatever. The match itself was whatevs. I didn't like it as much as you did. I think I'm just so used to FTR that every match they have is like a 5-star match, and this was not. It just, like I said, I have nothing against the Guns. I think they're fine young lads. I like their dad. I think this helped them maybe at least become somebody in the tag team division, which they need teams in the tag team division. But for them to win the belt the way they did and then defend it like in a 4-way or whatever, and then just lose it instantly I don't know. The tag team titles are starting to feel a little weak to me. Hopefully FTR can kind of bring that back. And hopefully they don't have the Acclaim in FTR now, because now it doesn't feel right. I feel like if the Acclaimed and FTR are going to wrestle, that's like a WrestleMania type match. You need to hype it up again and have the Acclaim come back and start doing some things, other than trying to get into the JAS or whatever they're doing right now. So, but yeah, I did the right people won. I don't know where the Guns go from here now. Maybe since they have that Mini Men song, they can come at hardcore, or they can do like AEW might always do, and then they just disappear and we don't see them again for like 4 weeks, and then they appear again.
Comedy gimmick or something.
Yeah. So I have no idea, but yeah, I liked it. I liked the outcome. The right people won. So yeah. Cheers.
And I think again, only gripe about the Mini Men theme song is, like you said earlier, you change their entrance just to have them lose, and so that was the one thing too. Like they could have come out to this song a long time ago, but other than that, I thought it was a good way to end the show with something happy, give the fans something to go home about. And all in all, I think Tony Khan really brought it on Wednesday. And we'll see what happens tonight with a live episode of Rampage and a live Battle of the Belts. So see if he can keep
excited to see it against the pretty wanted SmackDown now. So everyone's excited about this too, to see where we're going this way. So I mean, but kudos. We don't give AEW enough. This was a love fest for our AEW Friday. Kudos to TK. Kudos to the writers. Kudos to whoever else, the performers. Good job. Segment time, my man. Segment time. And today we are going to do some highs and some lows. See that? Maybe I didn't. Hold on. Some highs and some lows. That's better. That's better. I got a little bit better there. Yeah. I apologize to everybody who's streaming this on Apple Music or Spotify.
Your Windows just broke.
Yeah, your Windows just broke. I think I love. So anyway, so that's whenever I think of high singing, I think of that song. Remember that song? Just a little rhythm in my heart. Yeah, it's just touching you. What happened to that band? When we were in California, we talking about that, I was playing like a mix and it was like a lot of one-hit wonders. We were talking about how you can have such a good song and then just fall off the face of the earth. How does that happen? And like, that's a song, right? Like you could have made more songs like that. You want that job where you just become like
you just get paid one-hit wonder doing one great thing. Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, that's like, it reminds me of How I Met Your Mother. I love that show in Robin, how she was like a Canadian pop star, like in her earlier days with like her one-hit wonders and stuff. I mean, she hasn't lived off that, but yeah, people do. But we're gonna talk about some highs and some lows, y'all. So with that said, me and Shooting Star are gonna do one or two each of some things that we thought were hits this week in AEW, and some things that we thought were not. And as always, the Ginger gets to start off first. So let's go, Mr. Honorary Dude. What was your first high of the week?
My first high, and I'm not going to talk so much about this segment because I think that's one of your lows, but the 4 Pillars match at Double or Nothing. I think I am still on board with this. I think it's should have happened a long time ago, but I love the fact that it's the 4 Pillars competing for the AEW World Championship. I like that they're all getting opportunities to really shine week in and week out. Sammy Guevara cut a really good promo this week. He had 2 great matches on both Dynamite and Rampage and Dynamite. He had the Takeshita match on Rampage where he looked really good in that one, and then he had the match this week against Commander, I think it was. And then he cut a really good promo afterwards. Jungle Boy has been looking really strong. Darby Allin has been looking really, really strong throughout all this. So yeah, I'm digging the 4 Pillars match, and I can't wait for it. I can't wait to see what the outcome is. I can't wait to see. I mean, I say that I'm excited about the match, and I am, but I still think it's too soon to take the belt off of MJF. I don't think he's going to lose the match, but I'm excited to see, because they all have different styles of wrestling too. Darby Allin's a little bit more hardcore, and Jungle Boy's a little bit more of the high flyer, and Sammy Guevara is a little bit more of the high flyer as well. And then MJF's kind of a grappler type, brawler type wrestler. So we're going to see 4 different styles in this match, and I'm curious to see what happens, what kind of shenanigans there are, if there's any sort of angle that's played out with it. But I like that each week they're all getting their moments to shine. You've had Darby Allin had his time to shine. Jungle Boy had a really cool promo as soon as that 4 Pillars match wasn't, or I guess they haven't really technically announced it, but after that first segment with the 4 Pillars, Jungle Boy had a cool promo and he got to shine in the ring. He shined this week a little bit as well when he hit MJ, or he was playing the cymbals for MJF, and then they started brawling. So yeah, I thought I'm excited about this match. I can't wait for it. And yeah, that's my high, the 4 Pillars. I think it's the right thing to do, and I think it's the right time to do it as well.
I agree, and it's perfect timing for one, because MJF's a champ, and I don't think any of the other guys would be a champ yet. So it was whoever came up with the idea, it was great. I don't know if they copied me, because I talked about it briefly for a second, and then all of a sudden it appeared.
Listen to us.
TK, hit me up, bro. I love to take the job. I can write from home. But I like what they're doing here. MJF's totally going to go over. I think it's only obvious now with Adam Cole being TK's spokesperson that Adam Cole is the next guy who's probably going to be champion at some point. I think he'll be the one dethroning MJF, or at least that's the goal at the moment. Things can change, but I like this. I think this is, like you said, it's perfect time, and it's perfect time with everything, with maybe Vince coming back, with WWE kind of, for once again, for AEW to show you, without talking about them, what they're all about, right? These are our 4 pillars. These are the people that have held us up. These are the people that are making us better than you and what we are with our homegrown talent. That, yes, we have the Jerichos and the Adam Coles and the Gray Lee and everybody else, but we have, yeah, you heard that. But we have we also have our own people, and that doesn't include people like the Acclaimed and Britt Baker and, amongst others that we are now taking, and the ones that we've taken from you, like a Soraya that you weren't using right, and a Ruby Soho, and now we're using them right. And Tony Storm, like all of them. Now we're using them properly. Malachi Black with the House of Black, like we're taking some people and making them better. So I like what they're doing with this. I'm excited for this match. I think this is a great way for the 4 pillars to all get a title shot that they have earned and deserved. And, I'm curious to see who's going to take the pin. Yeah, I'm going to go Sammy Guevara, because I feel like he's the lowest on the totem pole, although they're making him look really, really good right now, which they should, because I've always thought Sammy Guevara was a star. I know he has his outside things where he was, I don't know, saying mean things to girls and this and that. And he's coming off cocky and starting fights with Eddie Kingston and whoever, forgot who he was starting fights with.
Andrade was the other
Andrade was another. I mean, he's a young punk kid, probably, right? Good looking cat, talented, get over it. But I like that they're pushing him now because his TNT title runs were awesome. And I mean, the dude can go. The end. I mean, I don't like that every time he jumps off of something, he has to say he's crazy. Like, you're not the only one doing that, but still, like, and you don't have to say you're crazy every time. Like, he did it like 4 times in one match, and he's like, I'm crazy again. I'm like, well, you're not crazy if you're doing it like religiously. That was like his match with Commander. Like, oh, that rope thing was cool. Oh, you're doing the rope thing again. Oh, you're doing the rope thing again. Oh, you're doing the rope thing again. Yeah. Okay, now it's not cool. This is why The Undertaker does it once a match. Like, it's only cool if you do it once. It's not cool, Commander, if you're doing it every now it just looks like it. You're not, when you make it look easy, it doesn't become cool, right? Like, that's just, it's like Tom Brady, right? When he won his first 2 or 3 rings, people are like, this guy's like, it's remarkable. Then when he won like 6, people are like, oh, whatever, it's Tom Brady winning a ring, big deal. It did. Yeah, he wins so much now, who cares, right? It's not important anymore. So that's like, you can't keep doing something. It just doesn't feel as important. But I agree with you, man. I'm looking forward. This might be the first pay-per-view of AEW I buy in a while because I want to see this 4 Pillars match, and I'm pumped for it. I went on a weird thing there. Now let me do my high. I'm gonna do the trios division. I know I've talked about this before, but I think it's just because I was so anti the trios division, because I thought, like, why are we we really need to put belts on 3 more people? The Elite need it, yada yada yada. But this is, I mean, they're doing good things with it. For one, the House of Black winning it was a great idea, and since then, they had the Elite come out, and they had they had who came out a couple weeks ago. It was the Elite and somebody else who was it wasn't the JAS. They have the JAS who can do it, and now they're kind of, are they there, are they not? But they have enough people now. They have the Best Friends, and the Best Friends can do it. You can have Hangman Page pair up with anybody, and now it looks like the BCC is starting to get into the mix, because it looks like Bryan Danielson's going to be the mouthpiece, and the 3 homeboys are going to be going at it with Claudio and Wheeler and Mox, so they can be winning the title soon. But House of Black looks strong. This is exactly what they've always needed. They need to look vicious. I know that there was some flack with them, with the Best Friends, that sometimes the House of Black are like the most evil, diabolical, whatever crew ever, and they demolish you, and then they wrestle like the Best Friends, and now they're not anymore. Now they're just like regular wrestlers having a good time. Like, people are against that, but you got to go with what you go with. But I liked it. I liked the match that they had with the Best Friends. I thought it was good. I thought it was entertaining. I'm digging this trios match, man. Like, I actually look forward to the trios now. And I've even been thinking in my head, like, oh, how can WWE have a trios thing? So they, TK, man, I mean, I'm telling you, he's turned me on some things, and I'm digging it, and I'm liking it. And as long as it's a good way too, because like we complain that they have so many wrestlers and so much talent, how do you use them? This was a good way. And as long as you're doing it properly, and I think they are, like, Top Flight and AR Fox are in there. I mean, it gives people the time. All these guys are talented. And how many trios matches have sucked? Like, none. I mean,
none. Yeah.
And just when you have a good champ, like the Elite, they felt good, but people, I think, were just kind of like, the Elite had it, they're going to have it forever. So giving it to the House of Black, I think, rejuvenated it, and the House of Black deserve it. I mean, Buddy Murphy needs some love. I mean, his girl's over there banging Prison Dom all the time, so I'm sure he had an awkward WrestleMania weekend. So I mean, but yeah, I'm digging the House of Black. I'm digging the trios. I think that's a super high for me right now in AEW.
Yeah, I'm loving it too. I think it's good stuff. And Tony Khan got a redo. I've been saying this for a while with the House of Black, because they kind of went away there for a little bit, and then they came back, and because there were all the rumors that Malachi was leaving and going back to WWE, and he came out and said, no, I just asked for time off, and the dirt sheet said, no, you didn't. I have it on good authority that you did not do that. And he was like, yes, I asked for time off. Anywho, he came back, and they've been sharp. They've been strong ever since. This is how you should have been using them from the beginning, but you live and learn, and they're really using them well now. And, when I first watched the match, I wasn't a big fan. I'm not a fan of, I've said this from the very beginning, that champions losing, right? So I know that Orange Cassidy has the international championship, and I'm not a fan of him losing to, even being put in this situation to where somebody has to lose. Either the House of Black has to lose their trios title, or Orange Cassidy, a champion, has to lose a match that he's involved in against them. But I want to see more of this. I loved it. I loved the match. I was like,
Yeah.
these guys can go. They have great chemistry in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of cool side stories you could do. You could do a tag team. You could break off and do Brody King.
Mm-hmm.
I always want to say Brody Lee, but Brody
Yeah.
King and Buddy Murphy against, Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can do Malachi Black against Orange Cassidy for the
Mm-hmm.
international championship as well. So there's all kinds of side stories that you can take from this. And so I loved it. I think what they're doing with the trios title is far surpassed any expectations that I had. Because I was one of those people like, we don't need this belt. It's just a belt to keep on the elite. The elite's going to have it forever. Yep. And even when the elite had it, that was kind of my attitude. So I was a little sour on it.
Mm-hmm.
But they had some bangers too. I mean, that best of 7 series wasn't the best, but if you go back and rewatch it now, I'm sure we would appreciate it a little bit more.
It got better too. Yeah.
And then the triple threat that they just had against the JAS and the House of Black and the Elite, that was a great match. That was a good way to end Dynamite. So they're bringing it, and I'm really digging the trios. I like it's better than their tag team division for sure.
I agree. All right, what's your low for the week?
Oh, okay. We just talked about the JAS, but this whole Acclaimed joining the JAS angle storyline, whatever the heck it is. That's my low. That's it. That's it. They've said no like 75 times. They're not joining. I don't care what makes Daddy Magic's nipples hard on, it was just a cringy promo. I don't care. And to me, it's just what I think I'm low on this because it's more, what are we doing with the Acclaim? These guys were the most overact. They still are. They're still getting cheers. They're still getting pops. When Billy Gunn cut off the JAS guys and said, no, you need to leave the scissoring to the professionals. He got a big pop. And then, when him and Anthony Bowens, and they did the scissoring, got a huge pop. It was a fantastic thing. So I was digging that. I love the crowd still is behind the Acclaimed, but just, this is where they are now. This was the most over tag team you had, the most over group you had in wrestling. Probably, maybe you could make an argument they're one of the most over groups in wrestling. Probably, you had them lose the tag team titles to the Guns in a questionable booking decision that was just like left you scratching your head and wondering why. Even fans were pissed, yelling like this is bullshit and that kind of stuff.
Never got the rematch, technically.
Never. They had that, the 6-team match at
4-way. Was it a 4-way? I don't know, something like that. Yeah.
It was like a Joker's. Yeah, it was like a Joker's Wild match or at Revolution. Yeah, so that, I guess that was counted as the rematch, and they didn't even win it there. And now they're in this thing with the JAS. I mean, I don't know. Maybe FTR joins them, or maybe they start feuding with FTR and they go to, back into the title picture. But I'm not feeling this whole thing.
Me neither. I agree with you. I think it's a waste of the Acclaimed. I think it's a waste of JAS's time. I think it's a waste of a lot of things. It's ridiculous. And hey, you have a friend.
Yeah, my daughter is in the camera.
What's up?
Yeah. Can you say
hello? Hi.
She can't hear us, but
that's right. She can't hear me at all. That's right.
That's right.
Does she know I'm the one you were just like hanging out with for a while?
That's who I went to California with. Yeah.
She's like, that guy's scary. She's like, that was that guy who was dressed up like a vato. But anyway, so but I agree with you 100%. My low, actually, it's funny because our two lows are my two favorites. The Acclaimed, one of my favorite tag teams, and my other low is MJF. This segment was a miss for me. And here's why. I talk about all the time about heels, who the best heels are, who's the biggest heels. People say MJF. People say Roman Reigns. I say Dom Mysterio. He's the biggest heel. And the reason why is because he gets booed. He doesn't get cheered. People aren't there for him, minus me. Nobody is like rooting for him. Roman Reigns gets cheered all the time. He got half cheered against Cody. They were booing Cody for a second during that main event on night 2. MJF came out. I know it's his hometown. I get he got the key to the city, but he is a heel, and he came out and cut a 100% babyface promo. He sang like a god. I mean, how can you hate a guy who can sing like that?
Yeah,
we already knew he could sing,
pipes.
Obviously, because he sang with Jericho a long time ago, and he's a singer on Star Search or whatever he did. But he is
did something with Rosie O'Donnell,
but he sang
too.
as a kid too. But Rosie O'Donnell, that's what it was, not Star Search. Yeah, I think. And I mean, the guy can sing, and it was great. And he cut like a bit. He came out and got cheered. He even like rooted for the guy getting booed, like the mayor or the city or whatever. They were chanting like the lower taxes during his the whole thing was a hot mess. It was just like I just did not feel it. And the worst part about it was that I think that promo was supposed to push Jungle Boy and Sammy Guevara, and Jungle Boy, who is like what, the biggest babyface in AEW. I mean, when does he ever get booed? Ever. He just feuded with Christian Cage, like one of the most vicious heels, an actual heel in AEW, and he's punching MJF, and they're booing. And then they roll over at MJF and they're cheering him, and then they just like broke it up because they're like, this isn't working. And then Sammy Guevara walks out to booze. Sammy Guevara has a phenomenal match, cuts probably one of the best promos I've heard him cut in a long time, dropping great knowledge with MJF not being, who he says he is and having help. And he has, help with the pillar of his side, and the crowd is booing the bananas in Sammy Guevara. I don't know where they're going with this, because MJF isn't going to be a babyface next week. And AEW has always had this problem where they don't care about heels and babyfaces. They just kind of mesh everyone together. You're going to start this feud. It needs to be the 3 babyfaces against the heel and the 4 pillars. That's what it needs to be. And then MJF overcomes the 3 babyfaces to keep his title. It felt weird. It felt flat to me. I didn't like it. I have not been digging. They need to do better with MJF. But I'm digging the match. I just didn't like this week. And I know next week they'll erase it all and he'll be a heel again. But it was just weird to me to just have him get cheered the entire time. It was weird.
I kept waiting for him to turn on the crowd. And I was like, okay, he's going to do it here. Because especially when he was like, because I'm better than you. And I was like, okay, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. And then he didn't do it. He had the crowd do it, and it. And then I kept waiting for him to say something. Because he even said, like, you guys can be anything you want except for me. I was like, okay, this is when he's going to do it. And he didn't. So yeah, I wasn't, and I also thought it went on a little too long. It was it was a very long segment that, you had the promo, the video package before, then you have MJF singing, then you have him do the thing with the mayor, and then you're having Sammy Guevara, then you have them feud, then you have Sammy Guevara come out and cut a promo, and I'm like, okay, like this was all happened in one segment, and I just felt it dragged on a little too much, and I was confused. Is he supposed to be a heel here? Is he supposed to be babyface? What's going on here? But I hated it for Jungle Boy. I hated it for Sammy Guevara especially. And then one thing too, during the Sammy Guevara match, there's Darby Allin hanging out up there. They panned to Darby Allin, and I'm like, where have you been this whole time? Were you watching? You were up there the whole time when and like they never showed him on the camera with when MJF was singing. They never showed him on the camera during the segment. They just you got to see Jungle Boy and Sammy, but then all of a sudden there's Darby Allin hanging from the rafters. I'm like,
he's the new Sting, right? Yeah, that's what he's doing, the Sting thing. Yeah,
you're doing this. You've been here the whole time, and they're like, oh, we probably should show Darby at some point because he's in this match too. I thought that was weird, but yeah, I thought the whole segment I think it could have been good, and I will say it. I don't hate MJF as a babyface as much as I think he's way better as a heel, and I think he proved that he could be a good babyface in the future with this segment if it proved anything. But I didn't like it because he's supposed to be one of the greasiest, slimiest sleazeball heels out there, and
the devil.
They made him he's supposed to be the devil, and they made him a likable babyface. And then next week he'll come out and change. And so I don't know. He's kind of getting that Big Show rub for me right now, where he changes from babyface to heel every other week, and he needs to be heel MJF going forward.
Yeah, and anyone who's going to try to dispute it just because it's the hometown don't mean heels. Like the Miz is the king of dogging his hometown when he's in it. All heels will always hype it and then bring it down and talk about why they left the city and how much they hate it. Jericho used to do it in Canada. That's how it works. You dog your hometown when you are a heel. So didn't like it. But other than that, man, it was good stuff. Good things. I'm pretty sure it's time for us to end this episode. Good timing, too. Look at your daughter woke up perfect time. 4 minutes over.
Yeah, exactly.
AEW Friday. I'm excited for next Monday or Wednesday. We got WWE and Raw and NXT to kind of see where else.
Yeah. Yep.
go after WrestleMania. I'm excited for that. And next Friday, they're doing big things. So I think we're going to have a lot to talk about in the future here. So if you are subscribing, keep it up. If you're sorry, I know our times are all over the place now, so you don't watch us as live as we used to, but we'll get there. We'll get
there. We're gonna get back to being.
But either
consistent.
way, you can always cut to. Yeah, we will. We're just busy adults. So, but anyway, Two Dudes Wolfpack. Thank you as always, Mr. W.O. And with me as always is
Mr. Shooting Star Press. Go follow us. Go subscribe.
You there?
Yeah,
there
can you hear me? There I am. Yeah. Sorry,
yes, I can.
All right, good. So go follow us, go subscribe, go listen, go rate us, go review us, all that fun stuff. But yeah, we'll be back next Wednesday.
All right, Two Dudes out. Let's go.